next 5 years. I think there's been a very short-term focus to the discussions today. I don't know if that's more of a cultural thing in Russia to look more short-term, perhaps. We look very long-term at this. We've been in this country 100 years.
У нас просто события происходят так вот быстро, что на 5 лет нам сложно планировать.
I mean, we've been around here 134 years in this country, and we've seen many crises. 2008 was kind of a broad economic crisis which affected the telecom industry. We're going through the same thing now, a broad economic crisis affecting the telecom industry. But I was happy to hear Thomas this morning from UPC mention the 2000 crisis, which was really more of a telecom and internet crisis, and that was really severe for us, for all of us in the industry globally. Fundamentally, we're just at the beginning of a transition here where telecom is going to change the world. We've been spending the last 100 years connecting places with fixed connectivity. We've been spending the last 25 years or so connecting people with mobility. Now most people have a phone around the world. We're going to spend the next years connecting things. And if you look at the mobile penetration and the mobile broadband penetration in Russia, and the various numbers, some of which you've heard this morning and today, we still have a long way to go in Russia. I think Svetlana mentioned many parts of Russia where there's less than 50% mobile broadband, I think you said. I see it as about 40% penetration of smartphones. That's about half of what it is in other countries. The data per the downlink speeds is about a third of what it is in many other countries. So there's an enormous potential still ahead. And this crisis we're going through is I think, a short-term thing. The long-term fundamentals for growth in Russia, I think, are very, very strong. And I think we need to look right now, during a crisis period, at the opportunities we have from the telecom industry and what telecom can contribute to the broader economy. Because we've seen many times over in multiple countries over multiple years that approximately a 10% increase in mobile broadband penetration equates to about a 1% GDP increase. Now I see this opportunity here in Russia still for communications to play a big role in the development of the broader economy. I look at all of you here today and say, you know, how many of you could have your jobs if you didn't have an internet connection? Could any of you in the audience here or on the panel be doing your job today if you didn't have internet connectivity? I mean, this is a fundamental enabler of employment. And if you've got parts of Russia which still have less than 50% broadband penetration, then I think there's a long way to go still in this country.
Ну, опять же, мы несколько затронули вопрос о знаниях, использовании знаний о клиенте, да, вот в примере там доставка грузов, там, вот Мегафон имеет опыт в Сочи. Соответственно, вот западный опыт, к чему он уже привел, вот использование знаний, да, о том, что делает клиент, какими продуктами пользуется, какова его поведенческая модель. Вот каковы перспективы в этом сегменте?
Yeah, I think what we see now today, if you look at the combination of social mobility, analytics, and cloud, coming together, and the telecom operators are very much at the center of all of that. The analytical data we have, what we can learn from our mobile usage or fixed internet usage, how we can apply that to new services, TV for example. There's still a huge opportunity in TV for the telecom operators. If you look to 2020, 5 years ahead, we've always said that there's going to be more than 50 billion devices in 2020. About 15 billion will be video enabled. There's enormous opportunity here for the telecom operators in Russia when it comes to TV. Machine to machine, negligible numbers I think today. About 2% I believe of subscriptions in Russia are machine to machine. It's about 5 times more in other countries right now. And the things that machine to machine and connectivity for the enterprises is doing to transform other industries is enormous. We've deployed connected vessels with Maersk Shipping Company, the largest tanker company in the world. They save $50 million a year in fuel from being able to control better the speed of their ships with that solution. Connected vehicle solutions, connected smart meters. We're still just at the very beginning of this for Russia. I think there's an enormous opportunity for the telecom operators.
Спасибо.